My guest today is award-winning actor Lou Diamond Phillips, who plays the role of the engineer in Miss Saigon, which runs at Casa Mañana, June 3rd through 11th. Lou, before we talk about your current role, I learned that you studied drama nearby UT Arlington. What brought you to UTA, and how important were those years for your career?
Oh my gosh, it's it's so funny, man. The universe speaks to you sometimes. I'd been accepted at Yale, but couldn't afford to go.
Okay.
I'm a middle class kid. My dad was in the Navy,
Yeah.
and I had a bunch of very close friends in high school. And when the Mavericks, I don't know if they still do, but they had a football team at the time, and my buddy Danny got a football scholarship. So there were four of us that said, okay, you know what, we're all going to go there. And by happenstance, it just turned out that it was really the best place I could have been. At the time, Texas was the #1 producer of commercials and industrials. There was a ton of television and film work going on here in the state. And so I was able to become a professional at 19 while I was still going to college. And that also led to me doing a lot of theater here in Fort Worth.
So do you have some friends coming?
I have a ton of friends
okay.
coming.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I got some dear college friends. James Healy, who I actually recently directed in both Bull and East New York. A wonderful stage and film actor. My buddy Tony, my roommate from college, he'll be coming. Some of the people from the Film Actors Lab where I used to teach back in the early 80s with Adam Rourke. So, it's kind of old home week, and I've been told that a number of other faces might pop up from my past. So
I bet you guys have some stories you can tell.
Yeah, well, we're not supposed to. The statute of limitations hasn't run out on a few things.
You're not in trouble. You won't be in trouble. And when you were in college, did you study singing? Because you're going to be obviously doing a musical today, so this week.
That's the irony, man. You look back and go, oh, what would I have done different? I should have studied singing.
Okay.
I didn't know I was going to do a movie where suddenly the entire country thinks I'm a rock star.
Yes. Yes.
But I really sort of, I was with a band, a bunch of buddies of mine from Texas called the Pipefitters. We toured, we played Farm Aid. We never recorded an album though, sadly. But that, kind of got me started on the road to singing. And then the Broadway production of The King and I, where I was nominated for a Tony, that kind of cemented some, musical theater cred. Since then, I've done The King and I probably more than anybody but Yul Brynner. Wow. And I did it here at Bass Hall back in the day. And in Australia, North Carolina, where I worked with Wally Jones, our executive producer. And then I did the national tour of Camelot. But what's funny is that I still don't call myself a singer. I mean, when I listen to the kids in this cast, oh my goodness, these kids have the voice of angels, and I feel like I'm a pretender to the throne. I'm an actor who can carry a tune in a bucket, But I mean, between this and the Masked Singer thing recently that I did, and a number of other things, I sing on Firebud's Disney Junior show. So I guess I need to start embracing the fact that I do sing.
Okay. I think you're known for that by this point.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of live musical theater?
The audience. There's absolutely no doubt that it's about the audience. I mean, that energy, that dance that you do, when you're performing live, and you're up there on a tightrope, man. Things can go wrong at any minute, and the train just has to keep moving. And so between that energy that you have, but also this company. I started in theater at UTA, and so the stage is still in my blood. And Greg Zane, our director, choreographer, was my dance captain in that Tony-winning King and I back in '96, '97. So you stay close to people, You really form a family.
Okay.
Because it's a trial by fire. Especially on a show like this, where we're putting up a massive epic show in 10 days. And you have to trust and love and be bonded with one another. And so theater people, man, we're carnies, and I love that. I love that as well.
All right, sounds like you're a theater person. You're deep in your soul.
Yeah.
So tell us about your current role, the engineer. Who is he, and what can folks expect this week?
Wow, the engineer is. He's a facilitator for a pimp. So yeah, he's sadly he pedals in plush. which was, you know, a staple of Saigon during the Vietnam War and to American GIs. And this is the story of a star-crossed love affair and how that affects all of them right on the eve of America's withdrawal from the country. So it has historical, you know, context. But what is amazing to me is that it's still incredibly relevant. You know, just like when I did The King and I, which was, you know, written in the 50s. This was I think late 70s production, 80s maybe, but it's relevant today in the conversations we're having about colonialism, about racism, about inclusion, about a person's right, any person's right, wherever, you know, to live the American dream, to pursue happiness, to do something better for themselves and for their family. You know, we're dealing with a huge immigration, you know, issue right now, and obviously I'm not going to get into that, but that's, you know, we're dealing with refugees in this play, and so it's not just, you know, bouncy music. There's some heart-tugging, mind-provoking issues going on here, and that's why I won the Tony. That's why it's you know, people continue to do it, because it's a classic.
Yeah, well said. Let's end by talking about your novel.
Yeah.
A little different. What's it about?
Yeah, I'm smarter than I look. My wife Yvonne is an amazing illustrator, and when we first met, you know, most people know me for acting. They don't know me for singing as much, and they know me even less for writing. But I have screenplay credits and, you know, play credits. I produced a play in Connecticut a couple of years ago that I wrote. But I started being a narrative writer. And it's funny because Dr. Estes, I was a drama major, English minor.
Okay.
And Dr. Estes was wonderful, and he's no longer with us, but he was a huge proponent of my writing. So when Yvonne and I first met, she had done all of these incredible illustrations based on Hans Christian Andersen's The Tinderbox, but they were in the manga style. And this was before manga was cool. This was like the 90s, where you had to go to a bookstore and hunt it down, you know? And she had done all these illustrations, and I looked at them and I went, oh my gosh. This should be a movie, you know. So she's okay, write it. At the time, Game of Thrones hadn't happened, so I set it in space, so that, you know, it would have this sort of Star Wars epicness, and her drawings reminded me a bit of the Kurosawa influence on Star Wars. So I wrote this, you know, space opus, and then realized that nobody was going to give me that much money to direct it. So my manager said, write the book. I went, okay. And that was a 10-year process, off and on. But it got published a couple of years ago. It has done incredibly well on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The pandemic, unfortunately, limited my ability to get out and promote it and sell it. But it did well anyway. I've written a sequel. And yeah, there will be copies available here at the theater. And you know, Wally's been so kind as to allow me to set up a table and sign. You know, so you can get one of the few places in the country you can get a signed copy of the book here.
Okay, wonderful. Well, folks, don't miss out on this. And shout out to any UTA students, drama students out there. Take your class seriously. You could one day be leading a musical or writing a novel, and it all just starts there.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for your time, Lou.
You bet, Eddie. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.